Folk Wrestling back again with our Aew Dynamite 18th of January 2023. I love AEW. It's the best 3 hours of the week that you could get, right? If you haven't started watching, I suggest you start watching. It's brilliant. It's definitely fantastic. So without wasting any more time, let's get stuck in to our AEW show. Of course, it was a clip special. Would it be anything else? But we do have the same commentary team. I think JR has literally just been demoted the Rampage permanently. We did have a graphic on the show paying tribute to Jay Briscoe, 1984 to 2023. He was 38. Of course, recently died in a car crash. Tragic. R.I.P. Jay Briscoe. But we do have our first match of the evening, and it is freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy with Danhausen in his corner. And then they're taking on Jay Lethal. And it was announced that if any of that faction got interfered, that Sonjay Dutt would be fired. Is that because the other three guys are just way better than Sonjay Dutt? Well, I'll say that. It's not like Singh's brilliant. I mean, Jarrett and Jay Lethal are fucking clear of Dutt, like, you know. So I'm saying that, but with just some really goofy stuff. With Jay Lethal running about chasing Danhausen, and then he gets beat eventually by Orange Cassidy. And it's just, why is Jay Lethal, right? A guy who in TNA literally feuded with Ric Flair, and still recently, about 6 months ago, feuded with Jay Lethal. You know, Ric Flair did. It's like, this guy had worked the program with Ric Flair, was actually over when TNA was great, and actually had fucking wrestling icons and some great television, and here he is getting beat by some wee freak in skier shorts, man. I don't get it. I'll never get it. And yeah, Jay Lethal should be winning this match every day of the week. I don't understand why he's not. We then have the Trios champions up next, which is the Young Bucks, but of course, Kenny Omega. He holds the other belt, which just makes the Trio championships awful. And they're taking on Top Flight. If you like glorified gymnastics, then this match will be for you. If you're like me, and you like sports entertainment, and you like stars and actual main eventers, then moves, you will not like this match. This match sucked. After every move, the fans are going, oh, it's just your typical neck beard, fanny, virgin bastards. I mean, that is pretty much what it is. They're pathetic. I don't like them. If that gets this video a wee golden dollar sign, I don't care, because I'm not going to sit here and praise AEW. The fans are chanting AEW. The wee soy boys are chanting AEW because of the fake guys, you know, doing all their fake flips in front of them. And the upset victory, it does go to Top Flight. Do I care? No. Did I want to gouge my eyes out? Aye. Because it just sucks, man. It's the same stuff every week. We then have the Guns coming out. They grab a microphone, Scooby-Doo, and then Billy Gunn came out and basically tries to play Peacemaker. It was funny, he's like, I've got 2 words for you. Family therapy. I liked that. That was alright. That was probably the best thing on the entire show. It's a shame it lasted about 2 minutes, but that's what it is. Hangman Adam Page got interviewed backstage again by Renee Paquette. Bum. It's funny, like, she'll be on so much money and she's literally the most insignificant role of the company. Tony Khan just paying these people for nothing, and it's funny. He's just burning a hole in his pocket, and I get it, right? He's fucking mint it. It's not really bothering him, but it's honestly funny how much money AEW is wasting, giving it to absolute jobbers who will never amount to anything and will probably spend their money on fucking World of Warcraft. That's the sort of people we're dealing with here. I mean, I'm not saying Renee Paquette's going to do that, but in terms of everyone else, oh yeah, flippy. I mean, that's how boring this is, man. I'm actually yawning during a review. See, if I'm talking about anything else, man, I'm pumped. I am fucking ready to die at the sword for it. Not for AEW, man. AEW's fucking garbage, man. He's actually reviewing this show, Jesus Christ. But aye, man, Adam Page, man. Thinks he's the man. Oh, Moxley's out. I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm the man who killed Gus Fring. You're goddamn right now. Say my name. We then have Jericho Appreciation Society. Jake Hager taking on absolute Ricky Starks, and the whole title of the clip was, "Oh, can he overcome the numbers?" Ricky Starks, right? He's like one of the few guys that are actually pushing, and he's pissed. Like, I mean, he's no bad on the mic, but in terms of a look, the guy just sucks. And it was weird. It's like Jericho's on commentary, right? And if you watch Rampage, you know Jericho's on commentary in Rampage, and it's like it was almost like two different characters. Like on Rampage, he is just a commentator, but on Dynamite here, he's literally like acting like he would in the Jericho Appreciation Society. Like I'm under no illusion. He's in that faction, so he's not going to completely act like he is going to do on fucking Rampage. But to me, it just came across as weird. But yeah, Ricky Starks wins, runs out the crowd. We move on to the next match or whatever we've got next. Yeah, and we've got Excalibur's just fucking awful. Can we get somebody else on commentary, man? It was like earlier on, he's like, but the Young Bucks had a best of 7 series matches. Like, no, gets me about that though. It's like they're having these matches that literally, like, the feud lasted about 4 months, if I'm not wrong, right? You had people back in the day who probably would have wrestled every week on Raw, but yet they never would have claimed, "Oh, they're burnt out, man. They're burnt out." Never in a million years would they have claimed that. Jericho then finds Schiavone backstage and he says that him and Sammy Guevara are going to have a wee tag team match next week, and they're going to have a match against Ricky Starks and Action Andretti. And then Sammy offered Garcia's spot after he wanted to be in it, and it's just like, maybe Sammy Guevara's injured because I haven't seen him wrestle in a while, but to be honest, I don't really care. We have then Bryan Danielson taking on Bandito. He defeats him. Of course, the whole gimmick is that Daniel Bryan just has to wrestle every week and hope that MJF's going to accept him. Of course, that's the match. Like, what else would the match be at the next pay-per-view if it's not going to be Daniel Bryan and MJF? Like, honestly, like what is it going to be? And thankfully, Bryan, I'll say thankfully, fuck, I don't like Bryan, but it's not like this Bandito guy's ever going to beat him. So MJF then appears on the big screen, basically says that, he just talks shit. I don't actually care what he says. He just says to Dragon, "You may think you're a dragon, but even a dragon is no match for a monster behind the mask." It's like, MJF, you're like the most bland guy ever. Well, not, I mean, I say that, I mean, this company's full of like 100 people who are more bland than him, but he just wears these jobber shorts, the trunks, with a scarf. That's MJF's character, and he's a bit, and he'll say he's a Jew every couple of weeks to make people feel sorry for him, and then the next promo will just be burying everyone else who's not a Jew. I mean, that's literally what he goes for. He's like, "I was just a little Jew boy, Willie Regal." It's like, why do they need to bring stuff into that? Like, I was just a small Jewish boy. Like, why does that honestly matter? Like, I couldn't give a fuck what you are. If you're a good wrestler, you're a good wrestler. I'm not going to care about what your background is. But they seem to hit home on that every fucking week when they're trying to make the fans feel sorry for them. But yeah, we had Willow Nightingale taking on Toni Storm, and during this match we had Saraya at ringside, and of course, there's a heel turn. And that's what I was just thinking about before I did the review. See, in wrestling, there is very few, like, good women that are face. And I'm not saying there's a lot of great women that are heels, but back in the day, like, you had a lot of babyface women like Lita and Trish who were fucking over big time. See, this Saraya, no one cares, but no one. See, in today's wrestling, you have to be a heel woman. Because see, if you're a face, you've got no heat, nobody cares. You have to be a heel woman and be like, and just basically play the persona of, well, I'm hot, and you wish you could be with me, but you can't be with me. That's literally all they've got in wrestling these days. I'm not saying that's a bad thing to have, but it's so one-dimensional. Like, there's no one else apart from that. Like, that is literally all the gimmick they have. Or they might have the big fat woman that, is a machine and a monster and can't be touched in that regard. But yeah, those two essentially turn heel. Do we care? Not really. Ruby Soho ran into the ring. Even the odds up with Saraya. What a return Paige has made since coming back to wrestling, man. We then have our main event, the TNT Open Challenge. We've got Darby Allin taking on Kushida with Sting at ringside. And every time I see Sting at ringside, it hurts, guys. It truly, truly hurts. Because what's this guy doing at ringside for a Darby Allin match when he could be in a world title feud. I mean, it could be Sting versus MJF. I mean, it could be Sting taking on Jeff Jarrett. It could be Sting taking on Jericho. It could be something. But no, we don't want that. That would be too good. That would be too simple. Like, why can't we get Sting against Jericho? A match that was never done when the two guys were at the peak. I'm not saying at the peak now, but I mean, Jericho and WCW wasn't exactly a main eventer. Sting was, but I'm sure they had a match at some point. But come on, this is when we need the match. When they're both fucking brilliant. But no, and guess what, guys? What's that you're saying? Of course, this fucking jobber wins the match. Darby Allin wins this match. Whoop-de-doo. Do we care? No. A garbage show that felt void of any main event presence. AEW is done. Like, it peaked. I mean, I feel like AEW was alright at the start because like it was new and fresh, and it kind of went stale. But then they brought Punk in, and after a few weeks, it went stale again. But you know, when I had Punk, it's like fuck. They've got CM Punk. What have they got now? You've got Matt Hardy, Big Show, Mark Henry, just people like that. And even Sting, throw Sting in. These people with name value who are just being not used whatsoever, man, and it just absolutely sucks. But that brings us to the part of the show where we have to rate it. And if I was to rate this show out of 10, I'd probably put a noose around my neck. But I've no idea what I'm rating this. I'm going to give it a 0, man. Like, there's just nothing to it. Like, anyone who looks good ain't given a prominent role, and anyone who's shite is given a prominent role. And it's sad. That's just the way it shouldn't be in wrestling, but it is the way it is here, guys. But anyway, leave your thoughts down below. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. That's going to do it here for Fog Wrestling, so make sure you check out all the other feeds here. But until next time, the Rumble is around the corner. WWE, can you save us? Can you hear us now?